Hi, welcome to chapter 1. We're going to go over in the book Spiritual Springboard, your guide to moving from a belief to an actual personal experience with God. Today we're going to go over who God is and why he's so interested in a relationship with you and what might be hindering that relationship right now from actually taking off. So, number one, if we think about God, we're like, who is God? And God is bigger than what we can imagine. But the great thing is, we know from a scientific background that all of creation has a energetic force that's running through it. And from a big biblical standpoint, we know that God says, you are created in the image and likeness of me, and that his spirit is within us. So when we start talking about God and who he is, two things come to mind. God is the creator of all things, and his image, his spirit, is in all things. So we normally think of God as this big thing out there, but in reality, he is everywhere, in everything, in everyone. And that is like, whoa, when you really start to think about it, that neighbor that gets on your last nerve, God's in there. We might not be able to see God very much because his actions are kind of covering God up, but he's God. The animals, the trees, everything, his life force is running through it. So a lot of times I think we have this misconception that God is this thing out here that's watching us and either like say, oh, they're not doing good, like this judgmental God. But in reality, he is in everything, and he is still creating and wants to have this relationship with us. Number one, because he loves us so much. Could you imagine creating all of this beautiful world and not being able to interact with it? Like, it's kind of like they all live in a snow globe, and you just have to, and they're doing life in a snow globe, and all you have to do is, the only thing you can do is stand outside that globe and watch it. That's what God has to do until we invite him into our lives and seek a personal relationship. He wants to help maneuver and guide and lead us into our divine destiny as his children. But until we reach out to him or seek him, he's really can't do anything, because he's given us this free will, and he's not going to interfere with our free will choice. So that's a little bit of who God is. And like I said, even if you haven't grown up in church knowing him or anything, that is okay, because I can tell you there are a lot of people in church who have no personal relationship with God. And there are a lot of people that have never set foot in a church who have a very strong personal relationship with God. So God is not confined to the walls of a church. And that's just an important point I want to really drive home. Because again, God is everywhere. He's right here with us. As we're talking, he's with you, he's with me, he's in me, he's in you. It's just a matter of tuning in and recognizing he's so much more than what we think he is. And he is wanting this personal relationship with us because he wants out of this box of limited understanding that we have put him in, and limited beliefs that the church has put him in, because there's so much more he wants us to know about who he is. And the only way he can show us is if we're in agreement to have a personal relationship with him. And basically all this is just kind of open the door of curiosity and saying, okay, what is this? Because he will show you. Now, I do want to point out, like, what are some things maybe now that might be hindering you from having a personal relationship with God. Number one, like I was, it's I didn't really understand what a personal relationship was. I thought because I was in church, reading my Bible, saying my prayers, trying to be the best person I could be, that was a personal relationship. But no, that was just me doing stuff because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. A personal relationship is an intimacy. It's like any relationship on earth, but even to the more higher degree, where you have to cultivate it, and it's like someone wanting to talk to you. And if we think about like Adam and Eve in a garden, that's what God really wants us to have, where the communication is two-way and he's supplying our needs and guiding us and teaching us things. That's where we want to go. So that's more of a personal relationship than doing things. And another thing that might be hindering you is maybe you think God's over here judging you and telling you are unworthy of his love. Well, that is false, because God is all loving and he sees beyond actions, and he he sees the heart of the matter. And even if people don't, are covered with the darkness even of their heart, in the only light is a tiny little light. That's what he focuses on, and that's what he sees is the truth of who we are as his children. So anything you've done in the past, anything you're currently doing, cannot prevent you from having a personal relationship with him, because you are worthy, because you are a child of the Most High, and his spirit is within you. So don't think that you're not worthy or that you've done too much wrong, because that is far, far from the truth. Another thing that may be hindering you from experiencing him is fear, because maybe you think you're afraid of what he's going to ask of you or make you do. And this was a big one for me too, I think, because I was afraid that if I stepped out of my little box of control and what I thought was right or wrong, that I was gonna, disappoint God or something like that. He is not about that. He wants you to have fun. He wants you to enjoy your life. He's not about putting all these limitations and boxing you in, because he's been boxed in. He doesn't want that for us either. He's a God of freedom, a God of joy, a God of living out loud. He doesn't want all these restrictions placed upon us by a church, placed upon us by ourselves and our own belief systems. And even like our own ego gets in the way, because our ego tells us who we're supposed to be. And that ego is the person who lies to us and tells us we're not pretty enough or good enough or successful enough, and we don't deserve his love. All of those things might be getting in the way. So I'm just going to tell you right now, check those at the door. And if those come up in your head, guard your mind from those, because those interfere with the relationship that you can have with God, because they're the things that tell you, oh, you're not worthy and you can't do it. But God is not a no guy. He's a yes man. And he wants to have that personal relationship with you. And he wants to start it today. And so I'm just going to ask you for this chapter 1 to do one thing. And the one thing I'm going to ask you is to open your mind to a new possibility about who God is, and about how much he loves and cares for you, and about how much he wants to partner with you and come into this space of creative oneness with you to help guide your life. So be open-minded and, open the door to a new possibility for yourself and a new possibility for a relationship with God, and he'll begin to show you for yourself. Next time, we'll talk about the first tool where you'll be actually seeing results. I'll talk to you later. Bye.